Hi, welcome back. This will be part 2 in the Tekking101 10-year extravaganza thingamawhatsit. This will be discussing the Bleach era of my channel, which is really, honestly, the most important one. I mean, like, right now, what I'm doing with One Piece, I love it, but this really laid the groundwork, in more ways than one. Not just, like, you know, wearing the suit and tie, doing the weekly manga reviews, but just, like, helped out screen presence, helped me establish an audience that liked anime, you know, which is very different from, like, the audience I had up until that point, which was, like, as we mentioned, like, 3 people that were consistent. How to interact with my fans. Yeah, it all started with the Bleach era, and I was thinking about how to talk about this, because, like, we spent like 50 minutes last time just talking about, like, getting started into YouTube. I'm like, how am I gonna gloss over the next 5 years, you know? Like, I could sit here all day and just go through all the different Bleach reviews I did and all my favorite sketches and things, and maybe I might just make a separate thing all about that, but this is more, I guess, talking about, like, my personal experience with it, you know, as a whole, rather than, like, you know, weekly separate projects. And so I'll delve into that here, because, you know, I'm doing the Zanpakuto discussion right now on the channel, talking about all the different Zanpakuto of the original Gote 13 captains, just because, really, I just wanted to talk about Bleach again. So, last time we left off, and I'm going to be very careful. In fact, I'm probably just going to set that right here, because I'm going to end up, like, stabbing myself in the foot with this thing. This was, yes, Ichigo's real, true, genuine, bona fide Tensa Zangetsu, or just regular Zangetsu that he got in the last arc. But anyway, last time we left off, I was just about to graduate high school. Alright, so I'm my senior year of high school. Not really doing much of anything YouTube-wise at this point. I finished up my Medieval and Medieval 2 Let's Plays, you know, to use a very loose term there, considering how those that series went. But I did that. I had maybe like 50 or 60 subscribers at the end of that year. No, actually, at the end of like 2 years, like the 2010, 2011, we're still, you know, talking like 50, 60 subs, like nothing. So, it was around this point, though, maybe a little bit earlier than this, probably right around the time I started senior year. And actually, to give you a good time frame of this, this was probably right around the time the Deicide chapters were going on in Bleach. The final battle of the Fate Karakura arc, you know, where there are like 24 chapters all named Deicide. Like, it's like Deicide, End of Chrysalis Age, Deicide, Aizen Monologues, Part 4, Redux. You know, that's what Kubo decided to do. So, it was right around that time I started to be aware that there were people on YouTube talking about manga chapters. Weird, huh? Like, well, I never thought about it to that point, because I've been a fan of anime ever since I was, like, a little kid. You know, Yu Yu Hakusho, DBZ, Naruto when I was a little older. I started reading manga on, like, a weekly basis when I was about a sophomore in high school, so also probably around 2008. That 2008 was a very landmark year. I started reading manga chapters weekly, and I got high-speed internet, and I was exposed to, like, the Nostalgia Critic and AVGN and everybody. I used to use a website called One Manga. And I don't know, it's actually a very inappropriate name. I don't know if One Manga was the very first, like, manga, you know, reading, you know, what website? Probably not, but it was the first one I was exposed to, and I remember that, man. I remember going on that website at school because the school hadn't blocked that one, because we had, like, a web blocker where we couldn't go on YouTube and, like, on the school internet, because that was, like, you know, Facebook or MySpace or anything, but there were certain websites that they weren't blocked because nobody went to them, so the manga websites I could go to. So I remember every Friday at school, I'd be reading the newest One Piece and Naruto and Bleach, just the big 3. I remember very distinctly Ichigo's fight with Ukiura, when he got, like, you know, he got blasted through the chest. I remember I read that at, like, the end of the day in the computer lab in Mr. Miner's computer class, and I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck? I was like, all week, I was like, what's gonna happen next? I remember Naruto's fight against Pain, when Naruto went 6 tails against Pain. That's something else, like the end of that chapter where Naruto's like, I'm gonna kill you, Pain! And I remember reading that. So go back and check, like, the dates of those chapters. That's when I was, like, just starting to read manga on, like, a weekly basis. So, you know, 2010, and I'm reading Bleach, and Bleach is getting pretty hot and sexy at this point. I mean, it's the final battle against Aizen, it's things that we've been wanting for so long, you know, Ichigo's busting out his Mugetsu final Getsuga, and we get to see Isshin again, we got to see Urahara pulling out all the stops and everything. So it was probably right around that time I was like, man, I wonder if, you know, these chapters are like really exciting, and it's building and building and building to the final battle. Except for all the Deicide chapters where Aizen is just, like, shit-kicking around, walking around Karakura Town, just following Ichigo's friends and just being a generally creepy stalker. Aside from those chapters, it was getting pretty intense. Don Kanonji comes back at one point. So, I go on YouTube and just type in manga review or chapter Bleach 420-something, you know? And I actually think 420 was part of the Deicide chapters. I got a little bit of that knowledge stuck in here. And, you know, I saw a few manga reviewers. The one that I remember, though, and the one that I want to say really helped me get, like, the idea in my head to do a weekly manga review. You want to guess who it was? You want to guess who it was? They still make videos, as to my knowledge. It's not somebody that was, like, completely random. I remember watching a few random ones back in the day, like, you know, one or two people that I've never heard of anything, you know, since then. But no, it was the Insane Game Freak was that individual. His name is Terrell, and I do believe he still does videos. I actually went back a little while ago to see if these original, like the chapter reviews, like of the Deicide chapters, the ones I remember watching back in like 2010, 2011, if they were still up, and I couldn't find them, so maybe he deleted them or moved his channel or they're somewhere else. I couldn't find them. But I wanted to give a shout out to him, and I wanted to thank him because, you know, I'm looking through a lot of manga reviews, and I don't know if, you know, I'm not looking on the weekly basis of manga reviews much anymore, because I'm just like, I'm so busy working on my own at this point, and, you know, I spend all morning working on my review. By the end of it, I kind of want to go and take a break and go do something else. I don't want to watch more manga reviews after I just finished, you know, working on mine. But back before I was working on mine, before I was doing anime at all on the channel, you know, there were some pretty low-quality manga reviews out there. You know, I remember plenty of them were basically just people taking out their phone cameras. Sometimes they were in bed and there was no light and they were like half asleep. Like you could tell they just woke up and they just read the manga chapter and they were like, "Hey guys, I just read the new One Piece chapter and so the Straw Hats are gonna like train for like 2 years and it's pretty freaking crazy. So I just want to let you guys..." No, I'm not even kidding. Like, they were serious. I don't know if they're still like that. There probably are. But there were quite a few that were of that caliber. But the Insane Game Freak, he was awesome because he, like, you know, his set was nothing elaborate. You could tell he was just in, like, a dimly lit corner of his bedroom. He had, like, a dresser behind him. But he would at least be standing up and presenting the chapter. He would be, like, and he didn't show the panels or anything like I did, but he would show, like, emotion, and he would do, like, body language, and he would be very expressive. He'd be like, "God damn it, Kubo, I can't believe in this chapter Ichigo got one shot." You know, that's how he would review stuff, and he was awesome. Watching his stuff really kind of just put the seed in the back of my mind, because keep in mind, this was when I was a senior, and I had a lot of other shit going on when I was a senior, okay? I had to worry about graduation, I had to get my graduation project done, which you need to finish your graduation project. I don't know if any other high schools did this, but in my high school, what you're supposed to do is they tell you, like the first week of freshman year, they tell you, you need to spend 4 years slowly working on this final graduation project, and then you're going to present it before a panel of judges who are teachers your senior year, and they get to decide if you pass or not, and if you don't pass your graduation project, your presentation, you can't graduate that year. It's going to be problems. And so I knew a few, like, overachievers that got started on that like right away, that started working on their grad projects like freshman year, but me and a lot of other people, you wait until, you're not gonna, dude, you're like, hey, this is what it is. You go in freshman year and they tell you, yeah, 4 years from now, you gotta present something. I'm like, I got 4 years, are you kidding? So yeah, you ignore it for 3 years, and then senior year starts, and they give you another orientation at the start of senior year, and they're like, "Okay guys, so you gotta start presenting your grad projects," and you're like, "Oh, well, Well, it's okay. We still have a while, because school starts in August, at the end of August, and we don't graduate until, like, the beginning of June. So it's like we almost got, we got like 10 months to get this done. And they're like, keep in mind, we start presenting in January, like right after Christmas break. That's when we start presenting these. And I'm like, oh. Now, these grad projects, to do a minor tangent, these were not like, this was not just like write a paper or do a presentation. No, this was like you had to do a certain number of community service hours, a certain number of job shadowing hours on a job or career you were interested in. You had to write a paper. They gave you a giant packet, like multiple packets. You had to fill out stuff in the packet. You had to turn that in. You had to make a like a 10-minute PowerPoint presentation. You had to dress real nice. You had to go to school on a Saturday morning and present it. Like, this was legit, right? And you had to do like 48 hours of community service. I think it might have been something like that. You might be thinking, holy crap, that's a lot of hours. That's like 2 days of solid community service. But keep in mind, under normal circumstances, what the school's intent was, you're supposed to do this over the course of 4 years of high school, not cram it all in the last year. So, you know, I cheated the system totally, by the way. Me and my friend Nick, who I called Nikolai, he wasn't Russian. I just called him Nikolai, and he just went with it. He was my best friend in, like, high school. I haven't talked to him in years, but he was friends with the school janitor, and he was like, yeah, Matt, just come down on the weekend when the swim meets, there's like swim meets going on, and you know, you help clean up the swim meet and take out the trash and just do light janitorial work, and we can just write it off as like community service hours. And the janitor, he was really cool. His name was Buddy. That's what everybody called him, Buddy. He actually passed away since I was in high school, but he was really cool. He was like this really short guy, super nice, and we would just fudge the freaking community service hours. Like, I would write down in my little notebook, I'd be like, I did 8 hours of community service today, and I only did like 2, and he would just sign off on it. And I'd be like, oh, I need an extra 6, and I didn't do anything. He's like, I'll just sign off on it, buddy. I'm like, there you go. Like, all right. So that's how I cheated my way through that. But yeah, and I job shadowed just like a cashier at like the local convenience store in my town. So, but my point is, I had that going on, and I had a bunch of other stuff going on senior year. So, you know, I wasn't filming anything yet, but the idea was in there. The idea of talking about, maybe I could make YouTube videos about manga chapters is in there. I said, okay, well, I'll put that in the back of my head, because I like manga, and, you know, I'm not using the channel for anything else anyway. I was going to delete it, so, yeah. Now, we go throughout senior year, and I just, once again, really the only thing I'm filming is just like the stupid little skits with my friends. Like, I showed you a clip of it last time. It was Call of Duty Idiots is what we called it. It was a series of videos where I go down my friend's house. There's like 4 or 5 of us, and my one friend is a very avid player of airsoft, and he had these like replica World War II airsoft rifles, like a Thompson, an MP40, like a Walter P38 pistol. Sorry if I'm getting any of these guns wrong, but he was also a big fan of Call of Duty World at War, which is why it's a World War II game, which is why he had all that. We went through a phase in high school. So we would go down there and, you know, just like, oh, he's going to attack us. So it's like, you know, 2 people are holding us captive and we're running around the room like idiots and just filming stuff. It was stupid, but whatever. And I filmed it and I edited it and I put it up there. And we filmed like 6 or 7 of these. And we usually just watched them and we just laughed. So, you know, sorry if I embarrassed anybody from the last episode, but you know, it was fun times. That was my childhood, my teenage years. Okay, so high school goes by, we graduate. Side note, other thing to bring up. I also 2 other inspirations. There's 2 inspirations for the whole manga reviewing thing. One was the Insane Game Freak and just like the way he presented it on YouTube, but the other was, I didn't have very many friends in high school that liked manga. There were a few people that liked anime, that watched like Naruto, and Death Note was really big when I was in high school. My freshman year, that's when Death Note came out for the English release. So I had a few friends that liked anime, but I didn't have very many friends that liked to read manga and would actually read it on like the weekly basis. There were really only 2. There was a guy that was like he was a freshman when I was a senior, and we both had like gym class together, and I was just, we were in the locker room one day getting ready to go to play dodgeball or whatever, and he, he mentioned something that happened in a One Piece chapter, and I was like, oh, you read it on, because this was like Fishman Island. This was like right out, yeah, it was 2010, 2011, so this would have been Fishman Island. So this was like the chapter after Zoro just like slices Hody Jones like across the freaking thing and underwater. It's, oh my god! Like, which Zoro could have totally decapitated Hody and just ended that arc right the fuck there, if we're being honest. But he didn't. So, yeah, he was talking about that, so I'm like, oh my god, it was awesome. And the other person was a girl in my grade. Her name was Manga Girl, as we'll call her here, and she also really was into it, and so I talked to her about it, but there wasn't, like, she was, like, really big into Bleach, so I talked to Bleach about her, and with her, and then I talked to One Piece with this other kid. I can't remember that other kid's name, actually. It's been so long. But there was only 2 people. And, you know, I'm graduating, and I figured, okay, I'm not going to see either of them probably ever again, because Manga Girl, wicked smart. I figured she was probably going to go to some university, you know, like on the other side of the country, because she's super freaking smart. And this other guy, I don't know who he is anymore, so he's gone. So I figured I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss talking to some other human being about like this thing that only I'm kind of interested in, nobody else reads on a weekly basis. So those are the 2 inspirations. Just the feeling of talking to someone about like a manga chapter, like, oh, can you believe what Ichigo did? That's insane. What's he gonna do next chapter? How about that? And then the YouTube presence of the Insane Game Freak and the way he presented it. So literally, like the day after graduation, I'm pretty sure it actually was. If it wasn't the day after graduation, it was like the next couple days. It had to be like right after. We graduate high school, and then the next day, I'm just kind of lying around the house. You know, we had the big ceremony the night before. You know, I wore my cap and my gown, and then we went out for pizza, and my uncle and my grandparents were there, and we all went out. Actually, do I have a pic? I do! Oh my god, that's so awesome! I actually have a picture right here of my high school graduation. So there's me and my dorky like look on my face, and there's get that glare there. There's my mom. That's my Bubba, and that's my pappy there. Yeah, so that's awesome. I had that on standby. Cool. So, graduate, go out to eat, all that crap. The next day, I just kind of wake up, and my mom's, you know, she's at work, and I'm just there by myself, as I usually am, and summer has started, but this is like, you know, I'm going to college that fall, but I'm like, I'm done with high school. That's so weird. Like, this has been a part of my life for so long, and it's just done. So, just lying around, and I'm thinking, I want to do something. I just had this, you know, you ever get that? You ever just, like, lying around the house, and it's just like, I have this sudden inspiration. I want to do something. I don't know what, but I need to do something. So this was, actually this had to be a few days after graduation, because I think I graduated on like a Tuesday, and this had to be when the new chapter came out. Oh, no! I think the new chapters came out Wednesday back in the day. Yeah, they did, because Manga Stream and everything was different. The schedules change over the years. Sometimes it was Wednesday, and then it was Thursday, and now it's back to Friday. But yeah, this might have been the very next day. So the new chapters were out, and it was, I believe, Bleach chapter 452, I think. It was the one where Ichigo first gets his realized Fullbring, where he takes his combat pass and he becomes like a Power Ranger, like Super Sentai Ichigo, you know. And so I'm like, all right, I like the chapter. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the manga reviewing thing. I'm gonna talk about the chapter on the internet. So I just go about the house and I grab whatever I can. I'm like, okay, what do I need? I need a camera. So I had my old clunky camera that I showed you last time, but I'm like, I was like, I want a better camera. So I found, and I don't have it at the ready, but give me a sec, it's right here. It's actually right here. I have this really shitty Sanyo digital camera that my mom got for like Christmas the previous year, and as you can tell, it's meant to be like a still shot camera, but it did have a video function, so I thought this was at least more convenient than shooting on tape, because I didn't bring this up earlier, but a problem with shooting on tape was when you have an SD card, you just pop in here. What do? You take out the SD card, you plug it into your computer, and you could just take the file and start editing. Not with tape. When you're editing with tape, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So if I filmed 30 minutes of material on tape, I have to sit there in real time for 30 more minutes while it transfers over to my computer as a file. So I was like, okay, this at least, it's shitty quality. It's like 360p at best, but it has an SD card slot, which is the only camera we had that had SD. And by the way, I had at this point, my camera, I didn't even have a smartphone. I had like an LG Dare, like an old LG phone. So not even, it had a camera, but not a very good one. So I grabbed this, and I didn't even have a proper tripod at the time. I had my grandfather had gotten me like a telescope for like my 13th birthday, and it was shoved in the back of my closet, and it wasn't even a prop because it didn't have a base plate. You know, tripods have like a plate that you can screw your camera into and like lock it into the tripod so you can like shake it and it doesn't fall off. But this was like literally 3 plastic sticks that were like tied at the top, and there was just basically just a donut. Like, this was the top of the tripod. There was no base plate. So I had to take this circle and just kind of balance my camera on it, and that was basically it. That was essentially it. And it was such a pain. You couldn't jostle it if you bumped it once and the whole thing would just fall down. And I was like, okay, where am I going to film it? I have my laundry room. I grab a black sheet. I grab a curtain rod. I throw the black sheet over the curtain rod in front of my laundry room. I'm like, all right, now what? We need more light in this room. So I go and I grab a desk lamp from down here, and I go into my mom's room and I grab her desk lamp, just like a regular, like, you know, one light bulb. You can kind of turn it and it's focused. And I set them on the ground, and I plug them both in, and I kind of angle them toward the thing, so like a makeshift stage. And I'm like, all right, now what am I going to wear? Because I don't want to wear my dorky clothes. I got to wear something cool. And so I just graduated, so I had my suit and my tie hanging up in the closet. So I figured, okay, I'm just going to grab this, put that on, and then boom, first Bleach review. Hello everyone, Tekking101 here. Welcome to my first ever manga review. And they're training. Then in Orihime's house, I guess Yukio lifted that, you know, that Forbidden Zone thing where no one could interact with Orihime. Yeah, I guess he lifted that because Riruka comes in. And that was it. You know, and it was such a sporadic thing. It wasn't like I planned it. I mean, I thought about the idea for a while, but it wasn't like I was sitting at my desk, like, planning my great comeback to YouTube, like, I attempted the medieval reviews, but they failed. I'm gonna have a comeback. They think I'm gone. Nobody thinks I'm gone. Nobody cares that. That's good milk. Okay, so, I filmed the first one, and you have to keep in mind, like, my videos up until this point, I wasn't really uploading anything before this in the immediate, like, the first half of 2011, like, that Bleach review, I did, like, June of 2011. I didn't film anything up on YouTube, like, the first 6 months of that year, okay? So, I wasn't expecting very much. And my videos that I even did have up, like I said, 100 views. If I was lucky, 100 views. Like, if I hit 100, if I had 3 digits, I'd be like, oh my god, I'm awesome! I uploaded that first Bleach review, and it was bad. It wasn't good. The quality was terrible. I wasn't using panels or anything yet. It was just me just standing there looking awkward as hell, you know, talking about the chapter, because I'd never done this before. And that video, I think, got, like, within the first week or so, it got, like, 500 views. Now, 500 views is, like, once again, it's, like, nothing. It's not very many views. You're not going to be a superstar with that. But you have to keep in mind, that's like 5 times. That's like 500% what I normally get. You understand? Like, 100 views, I'm getting 500! Like, whoa! I'm in the freaking, yeah, I'm doing it! YouTube stardom! Like, that mountain analogy, like, there's the mountain, and I'm just hanging out on this little rock. That little rock just got 5 times bigger. Yeah! So, and more importantly, people were commenting, because I would put out a medieval review, and, like, one person would comment. Like, one person would be like, and they were my friends on YouTube, they'd be like, good job, man, great video, liked your video, funny video, awesome video. But these were, like, comments about, like, oh man, yeah, that chapter was crazy, what do you think's gonna happen next? And they were, like, inviting discussion. And, you know, people were like, you know, you get trolls, of course you're gonna get trolls, but I didn't even care. I was so happy. People were telling me, like, hey, you know, good, and I said in the video, this is my first review and everything, and they're like, okay, well, good first try, just work on this, and you'll maybe get it there someday. So, I was learning, right? And it's like, okay, well, let's do this again. And I did. And Fun fact, don't know if you remember, if you've been here since the beginning or you went back and watched them, but the first summer I did manga reviews of 2011, I reviewed the big three. I reviewed Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, back to back, same day. Now, the editing was way minimalistic compared to now, because the idea of doing 3 full chapter reviews today, that would be like, okay, I'm gonna review One Piece and My Hero Academia and Dr. Stone all in the same day. Like, I would literally be awake from like 4 a.m. to like midnight, you know, filming and uploading and editing. Oh my god, that would be horrible. But I didn't really edit. I just kind of like took a few choice panels from each chapter and then just like jumped in front of the camera and just talked for like 10 minutes each. The reviews were also a lot shorter back then. And I just threw in like 1 or 2 choice panels and then that was it. Done, edit, upload, that was it. So that was that. Then, you know, that summer probably the most famous I got was I had a video, I think it was 459, or 450, no, it was 459, and that was the chapter of Bleach where Rukia finally came back, which I have the little bunny up here holding the sword because she likes bunnies. You know, Rukia kawaii desu ne. But anyway, yeah, so Rukia finally returned, and Rukia is my favorite character, and I think that's where I let everybody know that Rukia was my favorite character. That was, I think, the first, like, skit kind of thing I did where I was a really simple thing where Rukia shows back up, stabs Ichigo, gives him his powers back, and I had this scene where I'm like, and that was my first ever video to hit 10,000 views. I remember that. And a lot of people were commenting like, oh my god, this video was so good, you were so funny. And of course I got a lot of people like, oh my god, your voice is so annoying, please stop. And I'm like, whatever, I don't care, I'm getting views and people are liking what I'm doing. More people are liking what I'm doing than are hating what I'm doing. So that's a good way to determine how you're doing, right? So I remember that, and that was probably that was like the most iconic, you know, chapter review I did that summer. You know, that was like the one that I think people might have started to turn their heads and notice me. Oh, and I'm pretty sure this was the first person to mention me, because like I started to realize, like, you know, there's other people that talk about manga, and so I started looking into like my contemporaries, you know, like right around there, because I wasn't aware of a lot of them. Like I didn't even know, for Neverworld was doing reviews way before 2011. I think he started in 09. But, you know, he was around for a while. I didn't even know For Neverworld's channel existed until I started reviewing. I don't know how, I just didn't stumble across it, but I just didn't. So I started doing my reviews, and then like a few weeks into that, I was like, I should start knowing who else, like what's going on here, who are the other people that are doing this. And a lot of the people back then, I don't, like they're not around anymore. I think Bob Samurai was around back then. But even like KingOfLightning, I think King started his channel like a month or 2 after mine. Like we started like right around the same time. So he wasn't around like right when I first started. But For Never was. And also there was a YouTuber, he doesn't have his channel anymore. I believe he deleted it. It was McWhirlpool, Justin. And he actually just messaged me a few weeks ago for my birthday, so thank you, Justin. But to my knowledge, I think he was the first ever other reviewer to mention me. I did a video called the Fullbringer arc in like 3 minutes or something, which was a playoff of Doug Walker's like 10-second movies and stuff. Yes, I kind of knew that already, but just to make sure, I'm gonna go Bonkai and kick your ass. Well, I'm gonna go Bonkai and kick your ass. Ah, crap, he kicked my ass. Ginjo, why'd you die, man? I loved you. And so Justin, I remember watching a video where he mentioned it. He's like, that shit's funny. And I'm like, oh my god, other people are talking about me in their videos. This is so weird. You know, and then eventually, the Elite Ace, who I have to mention Ace, because he's awesome, Chris, I remember his video where he was starting his Bleach reviews. And I think this was, I don't think this was 2011. I think this was 2012. I think it was the very beginning of 2012, end of 2011. I had been doing videos for a few months at this point. And he mentioned in his video that, you know, one of the inspirations why he's going to start talking about Bleach was my channel. And I'm like, oh my god, now I'm inspiring people. What the is up with this, you know? So Chris was great, and I worked with him for on a bunch of videos. He helped me out with the 100 and 200 chapter special.
Oh, thanks, man. I mean, oh, I was trying to say a Tekking, sorry. Damn. So it's like I'm acting. It's like I'm visualing out. You know, I am having fun with this, by the way. I know you're like, get to the damn point, but I'm enjoying this. All right. Give me a shout out. Thanks, Tekken. I mean, hey, what can I say? I mean, we do hold the title as the best Bleach reviewers. I mean, because we already know what it is.
He actually appeared when I did my Renji video. He did in a cameo for that. I showed up in a cameo in a few of his videos. And I don't think he has much of a YouTube presence anymore. I think he made like 1 or 2 videos recently. But every time something new Bleach comes out, he talks about it, which is more than I can say. Because I still haven't watched I saw clips of it, but I still haven't watched all of the live-action Bleach film on Netflix. Not because I'm afraid or anything, it's just I kept putting it off. But I finally got Netflix, and I'm gonna watch it, like, within the next few days. I'm finally gonna sit my ass down and watch the whole thing. Alright, so there's that. But, yeah, so thanks to Justin, and also thanks to Chris, and everybody that helped me out over the years. I remember, who else? I'm trying to think, because when I did the 100 and 200 sub specials, I always did, 100 and 200 chapter specials. Like, this is my 100th Bleach chapter. This is my 200th Bleach chapter review. I always asked for cameos. So I got, I think Nortrodamas I got in one of them. Code Provider helped me out with another one. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting. Bonkai helped me out with one of them. I'm so sorry if I'm forgetting anybody. But it was like, I hadn't refreshed. I should have. But it's like, I'll put a full list of people that helped me out here. Just in case I don't want to forget anybody there. But yeah, Ace, of course. Yeah, there was a lot of people, though, that helped me out with those, and I just wanted to thank everyone. So there was that. I know Justin was in the 100th one, yeah. So, over the course of the next few years, because I reviewed Bleach from 2011 until it ended in 2016, I got better. I finally got an HD camera. Let me tell you, this was such a pain in the ass. Not because I couldn't get a better camera than this, because I could. I could save up my money and I could get a better camera than this. This camera is beat to shit, by the way, because look at that. Look at that. The side panel's missing. This part is where I screwed it into the tripod, and I was such a moron. Okay, this is how much of an idiot I was. All right, let me show you something. Let me get my other tripod here. I'm going to show you something here. All right, so this is another tripod I have. This is like a smaller one, okay? So this tripod, this is the base plate I'm talking about here. It locks in, okay? So this is how much an idiot I was at the beginning. Okay, so most tripods are going to have this little thing right here. You know what this is for? When you pop this screw on that mount, in order to screw it in, what you're supposed to do is turn this little key here, and that's how it stays attached to the base plate, and then you can attach it to your tripod. I was such an idiot. I would put my camera, hold on, let me unscrew it here. I would put my camera on the screw and then keep the base plate on the tripod and screw my camera in this way. And that knocked off the base plate. Like, this thing was literally fraying at the edges. It was like popping off. That's why I had to tape it. I was such a moron. But anyway, I could have gotten a better camera. The problem was I was editing with Windows Movie Maker at the time. Anybody that's ever used Movie Maker knows it sucks. It doesn't suck. It's just very rudimentary. If you're filming a video and it's just like you want to do simple things like just cut out certain parts, like do a jump cut or two, that's fine. You could do that with Movie Maker, but it's not designed for really intensive editing. You can't even put like a picture on top of video. Like this, something so simple like this that I just wanted to do for so long, I couldn't do with Movie Maker. You could add in a picture with audio over it, kind of like this, like, you know, I'm talking about this image, but you can't add a picture on top of it. So that's the Windows Movie Maker version 2 I was using. So, the problem was I couldn't get a better editing software because the computer I was using at the time was so shitty, it couldn't really handle HD editing. And not only that, but I couldn't even get an actual editor like Vegas or anything because I just didn't have the money for it. Eventually, a fan gave me a link to go get Power Director, and Power Director is what I still edit with, although I pay for it now. But the first version I got, a very nice fan, just kind of gave it to me. He's like, I think you need this. And he gave it to me. He gave me Power Director version 9, and then I think we're up to like version 16 right now. So that's what I edit with, Power Director. It's a very... it's basically supposed to be the perfect mix between like a professional editing software like Vegas and like Premiere, and like, but it's like more user friendly. So it has a layout that's more similar to Windows Movie Maker, the version I was using, but with just a lot more stuff to work with. And you know, I've dabbled with Premiere, I've dabbled with Photoshop, Adobe, I've dabbled with Vegas and Avid and stuff. When I was interning at the news station, they used Avid. And Power Director is just the thing I'm good at. And so a while there, I was thinking, I have to upgrade, I have to get better editing software. And I'm thinking, do I really? Like, the kind of stuff I'm doing, I'm not doing really intensive videos that require, like, you know, wacky editing skills where I need to really do crazy stuff. I just, you know, I can get by doing what I need to do with Power Director, and I use that right now. I actually use version 14 right now. And like I said, the new version's out, but I looked into the new version, and it wasn't like anything new enough that I really should buy a whole new version. So I'm doing version 14 right now. I'll probably upgrade at some point, but, you know, that's what I use. And so after my fan gave me that, and after I got a better computer, and after I got a better camera, I was ready to go. I think I started, this was like early 2014. I think it was like I started the new year of 2014, right around the time that actually Rukia started fighting Asnot. So that's pretty cool. I was all HD. That's when I started HD. In fact, if I'm remembering this correctly, chapter 560 is the first review I had that was HD.
Ooh, and maybe while we're at it, we can get Hunter x Hunter off of hiatus. Maybe that would be swell. Also, fully functioning Gurren Lagann actual-sized mech for me just to have general fun and mayhem with. Here's a question for you guys. If you guys could have any anime artifact, be it from a movie, manga, anime, whatever, any character that used it, and you have like full abilities to control it and everything, what would it be and why?
And I actually looked like, you know, in detail, not super grainy and everything. So that was a fun one. What else throughout the year? Like, there's so many cool, like the introduction to the different Tekkings. That's something that gets brought up a lot. Like, are you going to bring back the Tekkings and everything? So you guys understand that the Tekkings, like the different personas, that was once again kind of ripping off the Nostalgia Critic and AVG and everybody. Like, we're all on the same page there, right? Where it's just like, yeah, I'm only one person filming this, so I'm going to dress up in a bunch of funny outfits and pretend I'm different people. That was a total thatguywiththeglasses.com kind of move, right? That's where it came from. In fact, Linkara's character, 90s Kid, that's basically rad teching. Like, not basically, that is rad teching. Like, you understand, like, this wasn't very creative on my part. The most creative character I had was law teching. And even then, I never understood law teching. Like, everybody loves him, and it's just like, you guys know it's just me in a funny hat, right? Like, it's just like, okay, hey guys, you want to see law teching? It's been a while. Hi guys, I'm law teching. I'm slightly sarcastic now, you know, like. So that was, but people love the persona, so I'm like, fuck it, let's just do it, right? So, and in fact, law teching and rad teching, I think they showed up as like a joke, as like a one-off gag, and I just kept bringing them back.
It's part of the... What? Oh, I'm law teching. I mean, it's just like wear funny hats day. What's going on? This is really lacking creativity. Your law tech. Yeah, actually, no, this actually has the potential for being interesting. Do you have Law's Devil Fruit ability? No, it's actually just the hat. Just the hat. Okay, do I need to hold the gun to your head, or are you just gonna leave? Okay.
And, you know, law teching, it worked out, because now I review One Piece, so, okay, I guess I was a prognosticator of future events there. But, yeah, there was smart teching, and people always tell me, bring back smart teching. Smart teching, the whole thing with that, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the whole arc, okay? Because I feel like, oh my god, I feel like I can finally talk about this, okay? Because, look, back when I was reviewing it, I didn't want to reveal anything because I didn't know what I was going to do with it yet. But I did actually plan out, like, a whole story arc with that. Like, I did. And I just realized, like, this is way too big for me. Like, there is no fucking way I'm gonna be able to do this the way I see it unless I had literally thousands of dollars to film it like a television show or a movie, like an independent movie. Or if I got an animation studio I paid an animation studio to take my idea and animate it. That's the only way this was going to get done the way I saw it, because my whole plan for this was like, Smart Tekking is he's like the meek and submissive guy, and then I'm mean to him, and then he goes away and turns evil, and then he becomes Dark Tekking because there's like time travel involved in this, and he has a Zanpakuto, and I should have prepared, but it's okay, I have the room right here, I know where everything is. Where is my Zanpakuto? Here's my Zanpakuto. Alright, so this was, for the purposes of the Dark Tekking or Dark Mat Saga or whatever I called it, this was my Zanpakuto, and I called it Kuroi Taiyo, which meant Black Sun, very literally in Japanese. Now that I know Japanese a little bit, like at least I'm studying it, Kuroi Taiyo, it's not, I mean, it's okay, it's Black Sun, it's alright, whatever. It was supposed to be like eclipse, so, The plot was, Dark Tekking was going to get my Zanpakuto spirit. I was going to have a whole story with the Zanpakuto spirit. I had an idea, like, there's a field where my house is. I thought that could be my inner world, and I could add, like, a filter over it to give, like, this wavy thing. Like, that's my inner world. It's just an empty country field. And I had an idea for my Zanpakuto spirit. He was going to be this cloaked figure with this really cool mask, like a half-eclipse mask, like a yin-yang sort of mask thing. Very edgy, by the way. And then it was all going to culminate with me getting my friends together, because in the Dark Mat Saga, I filmed one episode with my friend Phil, and he helped me out film that part of it, and that was cool. And basically what it was going to be like, each chapter, I was going to go and recruit like a new member of my group, my friends, to help me fight against Dark Tekking, right? So it was going to be like chapter 1 is Dark Tekking showing up and stabbing me. Also, by the way, the first chapter of that is actually a comic, and don't remember who it might have been Doctor or Professor something. I'll leave it in, I'll include that in a description, where you can go read it. But somebody actually sent me a full comic of the first chapter of the Dark Mat Saga. Very good stuff, very high quality shit. So there was that. And then chapter 2, I don't remember chapter 2 that much. Chapter 2 I think was just Dark Tekking screwing around in the woods, just like talking to himself and training and stuff. And then chapter 3 is when my friend Phil showed up, and he fought against him, and he had powers from like Naruto. And it was very, very kind of, like Gary Stu sort of thing, where like all of my friends were going to have different powers from different anime. That was supposed to be the premise. Like, the premise was, I have powers from Bleach. My friend Phil is a big fan of Naruto. He's still a big fan of Naruto, so he has powers from Naruto. I have another friend who's a big fan of, like, Full Metal Alchemist, so her powers would be Full Metal Alchemist. And it is like, that was the premise. And then but I started to realize, people have schedules. Like, I can't just call people up and be like, hey, let's film stuff. And in order to make this work, I would have to, like, I can't just go down to their house and just film something. That's what I kind of did with Phil, but even that day was very hectic. Like, in order to make this work, I would have had to get actors, write out scripts, do storyboards, film, like, stuff, do maybe rehearsals, meet with these people individually to work out their scenes, and it's just like, Matt, this is going to require a lot of time and a lot of money, and people have schedules. Like, all my friends were in school or had full-time jobs at this point. I was still in college at this point. I had my part-time job at Dollar Tree. Like, where am I going to find all the money for this project? Where am I going to find the time to go and meet with all these people? They're not even going to agree with it. And some of them I might have to, like, if I'm going to hire people to help me out with this, I'm going to have to pay them. Like, it's just not going to happen. I just kind of realized, like, this is too big. This is too insane. But the general idea was, like, each chapter I recruit, like, each of my friends. And I had my one friend who was, like, the gun expert also, so we bring him in there. And I had this really funny scene, planned where, like, Dark Tekking is there, and, he's got Keto, and he has his Shikai and everything. And the premise of my Zanpakuto, you'll love this. The premise of my Zanpakuto, it was a combustion-type Zanpakuto. So you go into Shikai, and the Shikai was like Eclipse Kuroi Taiyo, and little spheres, little white spheres would appear on the edge of my sword, and what would happen is you, like, a little, like, orb would appear at the tip of the sword, and then you'd swing the sword, and the orb would, like, fly at the opponent, and whatever this orb hit, it would explode, and boom! And then you could make, like, 5 of them, and so I named them after letters of the Greek alphabet, so it'd be, like, Kuroi Taiyo Alpha, and I just throw one of them. Kuroi Taiyo Beta is 2, Gamma 3, Delta is 4, Epsilon was 5. I came up with, like, different techniques. Like, there was one, like, all my techniques were going to be named after, like, Greek words. So I had one technique called Terra Firma, where I take one of the spheres and then I stab the ground and the sphere goes into the ground and then the entire ground, like, blows up, like, and it, like, knocks you off your feet. And then there was, like, another one called Terra Nova, where I fly up and then I have, like, all 5 spheres on my blade and just launch all 5 of them at once, and they all hit the ground and just boom, 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 and just huge explosions everywhere. So that was the premise of my sword. How the fuck am I supposed to film that? Like, you know, like power director, Vegas? I mean, yeah, I mean, if you were really, really good at Vegas or, like, I would have to have the pedigree of, like, a Hollywood blockbuster kind of editor to really, I would have to get CG work involved there. I would have to do, how am I gonna picture myself flying? You know, like, I would have had to do so much stuff, and I'd probably have to hire so many people. Like, could you do CG explosions for me, please? Like, yeah, sure, for this much money. I'm like, I don't have that. I'm like, well, I'm not doing it. So how am I supposed to film that? You know, like, or I could edit, I could animate it, but how am I supposed to animate that? Have you seen my drawing skills? They're not much better than Rukia's, you know? Oh, man. So, hey, tell you what, though. Tell you what. If I ever win the Powerball, if I ever win the fucking lottery, like, and I'm a multi-millionaire overnight, I will literally I will fly to Japan, go to Madhouse, walk in all fancy with my suit and tie and my briefcase and shit, and sit down with the head staff at Madhouse Entertainment, and I'd be like, I have a project that I would like to self-fund, but you people have to be the one to animate it. I will have no less. And I don't know how much it costs to animate an entire anime series. Probably a lot of money. But, you know, if I win the Powerball, if I have like $100 million, I think that'll cover it. Be like, we're gonna get professional voice actors. I'm not gonna voice myself. I probably shouldn't. I'm gonna get professional voice actors. We're gonna get an actual, like, band and, like, an actual Japanese anime opening and all this shit. We're gonna do it 100%. This very likely series of events, if ever were to occur, this will happen, right? We'll get like a 12-episode series. We'll go back. We'll remake the whole enchilada. We'll have like a romance subplot in there somewhere. I'll have a little sidekick at some point. I don't know. We'll have a talking cat. No, it has to be a talking rabbit. It's my anime. It's gonna be a talking rabbit, motherfucker. Okay. We'll make this work, though. We'll make this work, right? So that was the premise, and it was supposed to end in so the scene, though, with my friend, though, is he has guns and stuff, so we all have, like, anime powers, and then you have a scene where we're all just walking toward him, and, like, Dark Tekking's there with my sword, and he's like, you will not hope to defeat me, and he's, like, releasing, like, Eclipse, and then my one friend just takes out, like, a machine gun and just jackhammers, like, it's like, what are we doing just sitting around talking? He's like, you know, and then it's knocked down. I'm like, holy crap, did that work? And he stands up and is like, that didn't work, you idiots. And like, all right, okay, so that would have been fun. This is what's going on in my head, you know, these are the ideas. I had this idea for years, literally years. The Dark Tekking thing was something that went from like 2012 all the way up until like pretty much near the end. The last thing I really did with all the Tekkings was like a little thing called the Future of Tekking. Take it away, Maestro. Okay, so I guess I bring this meeting of the Tekkings to order. So I was in that room like an hour ago doing a review, chapter 673. It was alright, you know, had its ups and downs, kind of a lot of dialogue, but maybe we'll get into the fights next week. Anyway, at the end of the review, freaking electrical shit happened, and the next thing I know, there's a future version of me wearing
a trench coat and all black. He actually looked pretty badass. He had an eye patch and everything, slick back hair, where I got all the different personas together, and there was supposed to be like an oncoming threat, like there was a future Tekking or something, which the oncoming threat kind of ended up being true because Bleach did end that year, and yeah, I didn't really know what to do with my channel after it ended, and it kind of lulled there before I started talking about One Piece. But yeah, that plot line never got resolved, so damn. Although, I am proud about one thing that I actually did end up finishing, and it was the Ask Bleach series. So, like, a few months before Bleach's announcement was, like, it's ending, I decided to do this series called Ask Bleach, where I, you know, take questions for various Bleach characters, then I get my artist to draw, you know, the characters, and then I do, like, a video. I get various voice actors to come in and voice the characters and answer the questions. If you really believe, if you really genuinely wish to talk to these characters, guess what? You still can't because they're fictional. Sorry, reality check. But next best thing, I'm going to be launching a new series on this channel. Well, at least I hope it's a new series. We're going to try out a pilot, or we're going to do a question and answer segment with fictional characters. And that was once again a series that never really took off, not helping the fact that Bleach's announcement, like this was like 2 months after I started the premise of this series and I took in questions, like Bleach was announced that it was ending. So I was like, shit. So I didn't get that done for like 2 or 3 years, but I finally got the Ask Stark video, because that was the first episode, Ask Stark.
Hello everyone, how you all doing tonight? Coyote Stark here, first Espada in Sosuke Aizen's army. Maybe you've heard of me. I was voted Best Sero in 2013, so that's something to be proud of. And I finally got it done, like, last year in November, because what happened was Retro Rhino came out with his first episode, or his first episode of the 1,000 Year Blood Work was about to be released. And that kind of lit a fire under my ass, because that was like, man, Ryan's been working on this for so long. He's been working on this for literally years, and all the people and all the hardships. He started over, like he started animating it, then he decided to scrap it and start over. All this crap, but he got it done, god damn it. He got the first episode out, and I think the second episode is coming up soon, but don't take my word for that. I don't know. If something happens, but I think it's coming out relatively soon. So, and I'm a patron of Ryan's, so go and check out his Patreon. I'll leave a link to that below in the description as well. I gotta remember to keep track of all these episode, like, descriptions and captions I'm putting in. Yeah, that kind of lit a fire under my ass. Like, man, he got this done, I can get this done. So I had all the artwork. My artist sent me over all the artwork. I had everything. I just never got around to filming it. And I was going to get, like, an actual voice actor for Stark, but I didn't have time. So I was just like, screw it. I'm voicing Stark and Lynette. Let's just make it work. And I just did the take, and I got it, and I put it up there, and at least it's finished. You know, it's that feeling of it, like, okay, at least you gave us something. So that's that. So, yeah, you know, as for the Bleach series itself, you know, ups and downs, probably my favorite parts of reviewing it were, of course, Rukia-centered chapters. I really loved Mayori's fight against Giselle. Mayori's fight against Pernita was a lot of fun. I just really loved doing Pernita's voice.
Oh, looks like I just struck a nerve.
What is with you people and the puns? Do you understand the level of pain I am feeling right now? I will slaughter you all! I will remove your goddamn brains from their freaking eye sockets, and I will use them to play golf! Do you hear me? That doesn't even make any sense! Do you know how much pain I'm in right now? God!
Because near the end, I've been talking about it for 5 years, so near the end, I had all these running gags and everything, like, week to week, and like, just things that I've been doing for so long, so I was just really good at it. I was getting really good at editing with Power Director, so that's really where all that stuff started. And the reason, by the way, because I don't really do that many skits anymore with the One Piece reviews, not as many as Bleach. Few reasons for that. So, there's one reason is I'm just doing more videos now. Back when I was doing Bleach, sometimes, I was still in college, a lot of times it was like one video a week, and that was it. It was like I did the one Bleach review a week, maybe something else. I also started to do Let's Plays, like proper Let's Plays at this point. I did a replay of Medieval for the PlayStation, like with proper footage. Finally, I did that, and then I started my Pokemon Let's Plays. I did my first ever Pokemon Let's Play at the end of 2012. I did Pokemon Emerald. which was all shinies. It wasn't a Nuzlocke, it was just all shinies.
It must be tiring riding with our things in the moving van. Yeah, what the fuck, Mom? Why did you make your son ride in the back of the moving van? You have no care for your offspring, apparently. Now I know why Dad left us. This is obvious right here.
And so that was a lot of fun. That's what started there. But aside from that, I really just did the one Bleach review a week because I had, you know, classes and part-time jobs and everything. So I just didn't have a lot of time for it. But whenever I did have that one day, I put a lot of effort into that one video a week. And because that was the one videos that like my Bleach reviews were here. All my other content was like down here. Like it didn't even compare. Like my Bleach reviews would get like 60, 70,000 views. My Pokemon Let's Plays would get like 1,000 or 2,000 views. It wasn't even close. So that's the thing I focused all my attention on. Now I'm doing like a video every single day, focusing more on discussion and everything. And another reason why I don't do as many skits, a lot of the skits, not all of them, but a lot of them were really focused on me taking different panels of Bleach and like editing them, adding things to them, swapping out the background, because Kubo's backgrounds, you know, like, near the end, like, look at this. Look at Uryu here. Like, there is no background. So that actually made it really easy for me, because what I could do is I could just Photoshop Uryu out here, and then I could add in, like, I don't know, like the freaking Burger King mascot behind Uryu here, like, staring at him like, "Hey there, Uryu. You want my Whopper today?" You know, like, I could do something like that, and that's funny. In fact, I'll probably actually do that in post. But the thing with Oda is he actually has backgrounds in his series, which it just makes it a lot more difficult to crop characters out. But also, there's the issues with Shueisha, because I don't know what it was. I mean, I got in trouble back when I reviewed Naruto. I got in trouble using panels for Naruto. I got a few strikes on my channel for that way back in 2011. One Piece was the same way. I got some strikes for that. Bleach, Shueisha apparently didn't give a shit about, because I never got a single fucking strike on any of my Bleach reviews. A few of them got content ID'd. A few of them got like, hey, you use music, or, you know, one time Disney that was a bullshit story. I can tell you that. But anyway, yeah, Bleach never got taken down, never had a copyright strike. The worst that happened was an ID. And then the IDs are easily, you can just delete it, edit out the part, and just re-upload it. No strike to the channel. And so, but now, especially the last few months, like last year when we had the whole issue with, I had my first strike on my channel in literally years last year. And Shueisha, you know, I think they got under new management, and every time they get under new management, they, you know, embark on this crusade to try to, like, purge everybody that's talking about manga on the internet, or, you know, if you're using panels, that's bad. So I still use panels, but I delegate them to, like, you know, as minimally as possible, and I keep them to, like, the corner of the screen, and I don't use the full page panels anymore. If it was up to me, I would use as many panels as I would want, because I want to use panels. I want to show you what's happening in the chapter. And you might even say, like, you know, other people might be using panels and they're getting away with it, but that's the thing about Shueisha. You don't know what they'll do next. I could, like, right now, I could put out a video that uses panels and I do it the same way I used to do back in the old days, and there's no problems. But a month from now, they might decide that, oh no, that's illegal, I'm going to take that down now. You just never know. So I'm just going to keep it the way I'm doing it now, but people are still, I'm glad people are still watching. It's not like I stopped using panels and my views and the reviews just crashed. People are still watching, so thank you. But yeah, I mean, I did a lot of skits with the panels, I did a lot of skits with that kind of stuff, and with the various personas and stuff, but really it's more just like an issue for time now. Just because I'm doing way more projects a week. Like, sometimes I film like 7-8 days a week without stopping. Today I took a day off. Mostly today I took a day off just so I can marathon One Piece movies, because I'm doing a video on that coming up. But yeah, maybe the skits will come back in a bigger way in some form, you know, later. But anyway, yeah, so, and also, of course, you know, like, when I finished Bleach, I kind of wanted to be like, okay, am I going to take my running gags and everything from Bleach and just transplant it into my new reviews, or do I want to try something new? And I guess I decided on something new. I wanted to just not keep it rolling the same exact thing I did in Bleach. I wanted to try something different, because on YouTube, if you don't like diversify, if you try to keep everything the same, sometimes that might not be a good thing. So, you know, that's another thing, because with Bleach, I did not really talk about Bleach in terms of discussions until, like, the very last year. Like, I usually did the Bleach reviews, but I never really made videos talking about, like, each individual character until, like I started doing the Bankai series, like, what's the deal with Toshiro's new Bankai and all that. I didn't start that until 2016 when it ended, so that's just how it went there. So anyway, what was I going to say? There was a story about, oh yeah, when Disney freaking flagged one of my videos. Okay, so Bleach chapter 594, featuring the lovely, and I think I still have it in here. Oh, please tell me I still have this. Oh, I did. I couldn't throw this away. I had to keep this framed. The lovely Pepe Wakabrata, Sternritter L, the love. And lovely, lovely man here. This is a true man amongst men. So I kept Pepe here, but also, okay, so I titled that video, because I title all my videos, you know, like, Bleach Chapter 590, blah, 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 review, Zombie Attack, roar. So I titled that chapter review, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And as you probably know, if you're a fan of Disney movies, I've seen a few. Not very many, though, because there's more that I haven't seen than I have seen. But, Can You Feel the Love Tonight is the name of a prominent song in The Lion King, which I'm sure we've all seen The Lion King. It's like, can you feel the love tonight? It's a great movie. I don't know about the live action. I'll go see the live action, and maybe it'll be good, who knows. As long as they do Rafiki justice, then I'm fine. Rafiki, best Lion King character. I said it. So, that video was up for months, like literally months. Finally, one day, out of the blue, Disney blocks it. Or they content ID it, or they claim it. They do something. Like, I'm not monetized on it. I'm not making money off it anymore. It's not monetized anymore. Like, they're claiming something. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I go in, and it's like, they say, you know, it's claimed because Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And I'm like, I don't use the actual song. And I even went back and watched it. I watched the entire video. I pulled up the editing, like the Power Director file. I'm looking through the editing. I didn't use any music. I didn't do anything like that at all, period. There's nothing in this review that links it even, that I don't even mention Disney except for the title. So that means, and it was a manual thing, so that means somebody that works for Disney, or more than likely a company that Disney hired to do this, saw my video, or maybe they just ran like an engine, like, you know, every video on YouTube that has a Disney song in their title, instantly content claimed. So they did that, and I'm thinking, well, this is obviously a mistake. This is like the very definition of a mistake. So I counterclaimed it, because you can do that. Now, listen, every single counterclaim I've ever done, even the ones that I had strikes on my channel, and this wasn't a strike, this was just a content claim, but every single time I issue a counter notification, it always gets passed. Takes a few weeks, maybe a month, but then it's like, okay, your videos are released and the strike is rescinded. That's how it always happened. Not with this time. This is the lone exception. Lone exception. Disney sends back a thing and they're like, we've reviewed your claim or blah, 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 and we've decided not to revoke it. It still stands. Now, here's the thing. I could challenge that decision. I could challenge it one more time, but if I challenged it and they still found that I was guilty, then I am liable to get a strike on my channel. So I thought, fuck it, not worth it, so I just... literally what I did. I tried changing the title, by the way. I even wrote to Disney. I even wrote to the people that claimed it. I even said, listen, the song that you claimed is not in the video at all. Like, it's really, just listen, look at the video. It's not in the video. I don't even use a clip from it at all. I don't even mention Disney in the video. I changed the title to, I think I called it The Love Guru, which is what it's called right now. I changed the title. You probably saw the title and you thought the song was in the video. It's okay, honest mistake, but I changed the title. There is literally not a single connection to your company in this video anymore. Can I please revoke it? And that's when they responded like, no. So literally what I did, I deleted the video uploaded it, did not change literally a thing, and just uploaded it with the title, The Love Guru. Did not change the actual video file at all. I think I added like a disclaimer at the beginning, like, this video is a re-upload, so people weren't being confused. Like, I thought you already uploaded this one like 6 months ago. Like, no. But that's all I did. I didn't change the actual video content itself. And then, guess what? Disney didn't claim it. They was like, oh, okay, that's fine. I don't, that's probably the one, like, the most bullshit thing that I think's ever happened to me on YouTube. Because even, like, the strikes that I got, they were annoying, and they're a little scary whenever you get a strike, but like I said, I just counter-notified it, counter-notification, and within a month, it's a pain in the ass because it takes forever to get it, like, finalized, it has to go through, and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, it gets rescinded, no problem, no fuss, no muss. Yeah. But that thing with Disney, man, that was probably the single most bullshit thing that's ever happened. But never happened since. Never had anything even close. But I avoid Disney song lyrics and titles now. I'll tell you that much. Oh, boy. So what else? You know, I could go on length about the end of Bleach. But I feel like I've made enough videos about that. I made a whole video talking about how I would end Bleach. Like how the final battle would go if I was the one doing it. Made a whole video about that. And I've made my thoughts known on how I felt about it. Like, there's so many... It could have been a good ending, you know? It feels like right around the time the group entered the Varvelt and the final battles with the captains kind of started up, that's kind of seeming where it's like, okay, now Kubo, for whatever reason, is really kind of just amping up the pace of this. The pace is starting to feel off. And then finally, when it hit that battle with Gerard Valkyrie, whoo, man, that just started flying like crazy. And then Ichigo gets defeated, and then he's like, alright, we can stand back up, we can beat Yuha now. I mean, we can't, but we can. And then you get the Deus Ex Machina arrow, which is the Still Silver, which, you know, look, I've even had people come to me and say, like, the Still Silver was foreshadowed. There was a chapter, like, in the 660s or 650s or somewhere, where you see Ryukin performing an autopsy on Katagiri, who was Uryu's mom, and people have said, like, that's the foreshadowing for pulling the arrow. And I'm like, bullshit, that's not foreshadowing, because it was still never mentioned. Like, we never see Ryukin, like, pull something out of Katagiri and drop it in the tray or something, like if he would have done that, or if they would have mentioned the Still Silver. It was so confusing. It was like, when Yuha does his holy selection on people, the Aswollen, a silver blood clot appears in their heart. But it's like sometimes that's the case and sometimes it isn't. It's like Basby and Latato and Giselle, they all had the Aswollen performed on them. They didn't get a silver blood clot and die. Hashwolf apparently had the silver blood clot and he died. Masaki had it done to her, and I mean, she was attacked by Grand Fisher, so okay, maybe I'll give it to you there. But Katagiri, she had it done, and she passed away later of an illness. I don't think it was directly because of the blood clot. And freaking Robert Acutron, he gets burnt into, like, he gets reduced to a skeleton. Like, he gets, like, all the flesh just gets ripped off of him. Like, very inconsistent with what this holy selection does, you know? So, yeah, the freaking, even if you want to say, like, okay, it was maybe foreshadowed when Ryukin pulled it out of Katagiri, which we didn't see. I don't think that was foreshadowing it. But, you know, you have to understand, at the last minute, you had this guy that was basically a god. He was a god. He was, like, nigh immortal, and he could see the future and change the future and bend it to his will and, like, force the future into the present. Like, he had all these crazy powers, plus Yama's Bankai that we never even saw. And, yeah, all of a sudden there's just like, yeah, there's an arrow. If you stab him with this, he just loses all of his power. Just like everything, just gone. So, you know, and at the end of Bleach, it was a sad moment at the end of Bleach, because, like, you figure for years I knew it was going to end at some point. It was the last arc. I knew it was going to end. But I was hoping we would have gotten more of a freaking warning than that. We got, like, a 6-week warning. Like, that was bullshit. You know, Naruto, I think we got like I think it was chapter 685 of Naruto is when it was announced it would be ending, like in 3 months or something. Like, we got a few more months of warning for Naruto, but god damn, that was bad. And you know, the last chapter of Bleach. Now, I'm happy how it turned out. I'm happy how the last review turned out. Got a lot of really good jokes in there.
Renji and Rukia fucked! Renji and Rukia fucked, so have that mental image in your head also. Just throw that in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, right there. Almost. Almost. Bankai!
Oh my god, it's frozen solid! My dick is frozen!
Okay, just calm down.
Do I pull it out?
No, do not pull it out, Okay, hold on, I'll call Momo. She's a fire type, she can melt it.
Oh, melt shit, she's gonna blow my dick off!
You don't know that?
Yes, I do!
Well, what else would you have me do at this moment, Renji? I didn't exactly plan for this.
Oh, you didn't plan for this. Yeah, you just have an ice Bankai. This thought never occurred to you.
Okay, fine, yeah, whatever. But what do you want to do about this, Renji? Because I can tell you in a few seconds you're gonna have some serious nerve damage.
Fine, call Momo.
That's what I thought.
After it ended, though, by the way, the ending of Bleach, like the last chapter review, I had a whole plan for that, too. Once again, I was planning on it being like a stage show, like getting a whole auditorium to film in. Once again, I just didn't have money for it, or the actors or anything. But maybe with One Piece. Maybe. But if I start planning it now, maybe we'll get something for like a big epic final of the One Piece review. I would love to do that. I would love to do a big epic final One Piece review on like a stage with like, you know, a bunch of people. Like I fly in a bunch of the other reviewers to help me out with it or something. Oh man, that would be fucking nuts. Yeah, I'm happy how it turned out. After Bleach ended, I pretty much right away started talking about My Hero Academia, and I liked it, but it didn't really fit. And I talked about My Hero for the rest of 2016, seeing if it would work, and it didn't really work. It just didn't click with the kind of style of reviewing. I still love My Hero, and I make videos about it. It's just didn't really click with a weekly review kind of thing, the way I like to do it. So after that, I decided to start talking about One Piece. And I think that would probably be a good place to end this. How long was that? That was 1 hour and 7 minutes. All right, that's a good place to end it. You know, and I can't cover everything is the thing, because I talked about 5 years. I mean, so many memories, so many good memories about just certain reviews I did, like ones that were really editing intensive. Like I remember the one where I went to Sweden and I assassinated a duck.
Come on, Spain! Sweden! Ah, freaking Sweden. Freezing my ass off. Capital city named after a freaking mental disorder. Alright, let's see here. There you are, good King Whatcher Slutch, or whatever your name is. Alright. Hasta la vista, baby. Oh wait, no shit, he was from Austria. No, same thing. We interrupt this program to bring you a breaking news bulletin. Coming live from Sweden is anchorman Robert Akutron with the full story. Robert, how you doing over there?
Yes, well, you see, it would appear that a local duck has been assassinated outside the palace walls here in Stockholm, Sweden. This is truly a horrible travesty that will live on in infamy, carrying over with the similar assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in 1914, which spun the world into the First World War.
I just, you know, that was fun. Askin Naklevar's death video, I remember that. I went up to the ball field and I filmed the end of that, and it was this really dramatic scene where I looked at Askin in the sky, and he's like a JoJo character, like, yeah.
Right here, Askin. You'll always be with me.
That was a lot of fun. That was a fun one. My most fun doing the reviews and the intros and all that stuff was near the end of Bleach, because that's when I really hit my stride and I knew what I was doing. And I even uploaded a video. I did a whole video on just like my my favorite intros that I ever filmed in Bleach, like my Bleach intro compilation, and I might do another one of those too. But yeah, every intro I did, probably from like the intros started off as just kind of like a thing. Like they weren't really supposed to be anything that intensive. The intros actually ended up being one of the hardest parts of a video, because the review itself, I knew what I was going to talk about. I just reviewed the chapter. But the intros I had to come up with, and like it got to the point where it's like every week I had to do a new intro. Some weeks I missed it, but most weeks I did a brand new intro. And the weeks would either be me dressing up as like a captain or doing some green screen effect, or I'd do a previously on Bleach. Yuha's dead, Ichigo's a dad, Orihime has a mom, you know, like Uryu's a doctor, Chad's a boxer for some reason, you know, like, and that was what I would do, and I had to do it every week, and I had to come up with new. It was stressful sometimes doing that, guys. It was really stressful doing videos every week, trying to come up with a new intro, a new clever idea every week. Epic rap battle, that was probably my favorite one of my favorite ones.
Epic rap battle of history! Aizen's chair versus Yuha's horse!
Begin! Nay! I am His Majesty's royal steed, serving up his every want and need. All of his conquests it's plain to see, of course that is all on me. He's the Kaiser of the Quincy, so the point is moot. Look at your master, he's in a fucking gimp suit.
Who won? Who's next? You decide!
What the fuck are you doing? Oh man, that was a lot of fun. I like doing that one. Yeah, so just all those. And I could go blabbering on about intros all night, but I think this video's been long enough, so I think I'm gonna end it here. My next video is gonna be about the One Piece era, so more of like the modern era of Tekking. I might also go into a little bit of the little buffer area with My Hero, because I still like, Bleach ended in August of 2016, and from September to December, that was like my short-lived My Hero phase. So I'll probably go into that a little bit, but then after that I'll just talk about One Piece and why I started to review that and where I'm at right now, and then where do I see myself in the future, and that'll kind of bring this little mini documentary to an end. I say mini, but I've probably been, combined from this episode and the last one, I've probably been jawing on for about 2 hours now or something. But anyway, at any rate, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you learned maybe something new if you haven't, or if this was all information you already knew. Sorry. But, yeah, I'm going to clean up, but you guys have a good night, and wish Pepe a good night, too. Pepe, he misses you guys. He really wants to spread the love. Later, everybody. Love. Also, Meaniness McAllen, hottest Quincy by far. It sucks we didn't see more of Meaniness. And no, it's not just because she has giant boobs, which I'm into. It's also because she could turn into a giant buff girl and punch people in the face, which also I'm oddly into. So, okay, that's the reason. More Meaniness!